Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Thank you to Eric and Randon, my newest patrons. Greatly appreciate your support. So what a weekend it was for Tesla. A lot of things to cover today. First up, Elon's new Twitter name, Lord Edge. So plenty of speculation on this. However, I think the simple answer is just he's being edgy with some of his takes, and as you can see now, he has Trollheim as his location. Troll being something that he enjoys doing on Twitter in more ways than one, which you'll see shortly. Someone else, however, has mentioned that it could be an anagram for Elder Doge. An anagram is just a word made from switching the letters around in another word or phrase. And if you actually do it, it could also spell Elder Doge if you move the letters around. And yes, I know the Doge community would love that to be true. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's just him being edgy, a little more controversial, and having fun on Twitter. So here we have it. The poll is closed. I'm sure you've all heard about this by now. Just a few really important points. One, I really think a lot of people just need to take a breather and calm down. I'm pretty sure Elon was going to do this either way, and he just used the Twitter poll to take a gauge of public sentiment, to kind of watch the spectacle that he probably knew this would create. But ultimately, I really think this was in his plan. As has been talked about, Elon does have some options that he will be exercising next year. He's going to have a tax bill. So rather than take out more of a loan against his Tesla stock, which by the way, he already has, and that's really what he lives off of, it would not be the worst idea to sell some Tesla stock when it's at all-time highs to then pay for that exercising of those options and to pay part of that tax bill. Now, yes, you can read a lot more into this. Is he trying to placate the mob and do things of that nature? Sure, some of that might be true. He could have multiple motives for doing something like this. But simply put, he has a tax bill next year. It's a pretty decent time to sell Tesla stock if you're going to have to sell it eventually anyways. And chances are he will have a plan for any money that would be left over from the sale after paying taxes. Maybe it is for the Texas Institute of Technology and Sciences. Maybe it's something to do with the global hunger situation. There could be negotiations going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of. And so far today, Tesla stock is only down 3%. I think some people thought it was going to be a lot worse. Sure, maybe it has a week of a bleed, who really knows? But ultimately, it doesn't matter. Guys, nothing changes with Tesla's fundamentals. This is a gift, an absolute gift, if you want to keep adding to your Tesla position for the long term. I personally had my fingers crossed for a 10% Tesla dip today because I would have loved to buy some Tesla stock at those discounted prices. There are so many positive Tesla catalysts out there that are being overlooked because of this. We have the tax credit. We have crazy October delivery figures in Shanghai, which we'll get to momentarily. And a quick note about this sale. So Elon's not just going to go on E-Trade and sell $20 billion worth of Tesla stock in one day. He's an insider. He owns more than 10% of the company. There are rules and regulations and things that he has to abide by. Most likely, if he does indeed follow through with what he said he was going to do, he'll do this over a period of months. He will notify the SEC. He'll go through all the legal filings. Maybe it's a 10b5-1, maybe it's not. But either way, it's not going to be a snap of the fingers one moment where he sells all of the Tesla stock simultaneously. Most likely it will be over time, and you might not even realize it. And simply put, a 10b5-1 is just a way for insiders of a company to sell their shares at predetermined times and prices. And just think about this. So let's say a few weeks from now, we learn that Elon's going to sell 10% of his stock without doing this poll. Well, the media is going to take that and says, Elon's cashing out, he doesn't believe in the company, everything's changing. Whereas now, at least it's kind of covered in this tax conversation situation where it could be interpreted as Elon trying to do right by humanity, to show that he's willing to pay his fair share of taxes and that he's not just trying to game the system and avoid paying taxes. He's just trying to do what's best for humanity by generating capital appreciation so that he can use that for his other endeavors to provide hope and a better existence for humanity. And this tweet from Lex is just awesome. There is perhaps no phenomena which contains so much destructive feeling as moral indignation, which is basically being angry about something that's unfair, which permits envy or hate to be acted out under the guise of virtue. And to this, just over the weekend, Elon said exactly. So I think this pretty transparently is hinting right at the tax situation. What we have here is moral indignation of many people thinking that it's unfair that Elon and other billionaires get to make all this money and pay lower taxes because the way the system is built. So they're using that moral indignation to essentially act out of envy or hate, whichever one you want to pick, under the guise of virtue being, fairness for everybody. It's only right that we tax the wealthy and redistribute that capital. And then real quick, yes, Elon does have some pretty edgy tweets over the weekend. So this first one, this from Scott Galloway talking about Elon using Twitter results as a cloud cover to monetize Tesla at prices he knows aren't sustainable without outright telling the market he's lost faith in its valuation. To which Elon says, doing the opposite of whatever that insufferable numbskull says would be a great way to invest. And then we have this in response to Ron Wyden. Whether or not the world's wealthiest man pays any taxes at all shouldn't depend on the results of a Twitter poll. It's time for the billionaire's income tax. To which Elon said this, and just FYI, PP stands for profile picture. Get your head out of the gutter. And then Mr. Edge was asked about a retrofit for the older 2016-2017 SNX, and Elon said coming soon for that camera retrofit. Also, in all the hoopla, this was kind of going overlooked. So on November 5th, you can see Kimball Musk. We're talking about Tesla stock. D over here is for disposed or sold. As you can see, he sold thousands and thousands of shares, mostly at $1,200 plus stock price. So I don't want to speculate here, but it was indeed curious timing as this happened right before Elon's tweet about selling the stock. But this is the stuff we need to focus on. Look back at Tesla's history and all of the goofy things Elon has done in the media, on Twitter. Funding secured, smoking weed with Rogan, the SEC making fun of the naming, nuking Mars, Tesla stock too high, and the returns since all of those moments. Tesla's business and the fundamentals will destroy any of these short-term noise headwind type of situations that Elon chooses to put out there. So if for some reason you're worried about Tesla stock price out there, don't be. It will be okay. Tesla has so many incredible catalysts at the moment. Just hold tight, be patient, take a breather, and tune out of the noise if you have to. I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Charity Stars. This will serve as reminder number 2 to enter for your chance to win a brand new Model Y Performance and $10,000. Charity Stars has also increased the number of free options this time around to 250, so go to charitystars.com/electrified and use coupon code electrified at checkout. The winner will get to choose the interior and exterior options, which is not always the case, and the taxes and shipping will be included for United States winners, but this sweepstakes is open globally. Most of us know the magic of the Model Y Performance, but if you're new, we're talking 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, over 300 miles of range, and an industry-leading infotainment experience on a 15-inch touchscreen. Charity Stars is also a fundraising platform for charitable causes. In this case, you'll be supporting the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage, which funds initiatives to prevent intimate partner violence. So to enter the sweepstakes, go to charitystars.com/electrified and use coupon code electrified at checkout to get your 250 free entries. Good luck. So let's shift gears into some of these really bullish catalysts that we just got. 1, Jefferies increased its Tesla price target to a street high of $1,400, maintained its buy rating based on superior growth and operating margin expectations as legacy EV progress continues to fall short. Also, the Tesla bull case has been pushed to $1,800 at Wedbush. I've said the linchpin to the overall bull thesis on Tesla remains China, which we're going to talk about, which we estimate will represent 40% of deliveries for Tesla in 2022. While PR and safety headwinds were front and center in China earlier this year, we've seen this demand trend reverse aggressively in a bullish way for Tesla into the year end, with the company now on a 50,000 monthly run rate for China in Q4 and could ramp further into early 2022. So let's talk about Tesla China. What did they do in October? 54,391 vehicles during the month, with 40,666 of that being exports for a new export record. This is a huge 35% beat versus expectations of about 40,300 total sales. China absolutely killing it. Run rate now about 652,000 per year just for Giga Shanghai. So here we have our handy dandy simple chart for China deliveries. October figures are plugged in, as you can see. Not a record month as September still holds that title, but guys, look at the export column. This 40,666 is a huge increase. This is the first month of the fourth quarter. So if we go back and compare it to the first month of the third quarter, where they exported 24,347, that's going to be a great comparison comparison, and as you can see, it's a huge increase, not quite double, but getting close to that range. So these are absolutely stellar figures for October, not just in terms of exports, but for the first month of the quarter. You also see, if you go back, the first month of quarter 3, 8,600. They didn't double it, but pretty close to the first month in the fourth quarter, comparing here to here. So simply put, this paired with price increases is going to lead to a potentially huge monster quarter 4 when it comes to deliveries and margins, something we've been talking about for a long time. And then we have this from Squawk on the Street just this morning, where the Pepsi CEO mentioned something about semi-deliveries. Maybe it was a mistake, I don't know. Take a listen.
As you think about, we replace our fleet regularly every 10 years, more or less. That's the life of a truck. And we're already starting to buy electric trucks, actually, from Tesla. I mean, I don't want to promote anybody, but that's the brand we're using so far. And we're getting our first deliveries this Q4. So it's something we started a few years ago. We're working with Tesla. But clearly, to make this pivot, which is late in our journey, because we think this technology is now too expensive. We hope it's going to go down, and we're working on that to go down. To make this transition, I need clean energy. I need clean energy no matter, even if the cars are electric, still they're going to be very pollutant if we don't change the grid to clean energy. So I need what I was saying earlier, I need policymakers to help us pivot our electric grid to clean electric grid so that electric vehicles can be zero pollutants. But that's the journey for us, and you're right. Trucks is a big component, 10% of our gas emissions, and it's a big pillar of our transformation.
What do you think? I don't know. He seemed pretty confident. Like I said, could be a mistake, but he's reiterating a timeline for Tesla to deliver some semis to Pepsi in quarter 4 of this year. And then we pair that with what Sawyer shared. Here's the first look at the Tesla Semi Megacharger stall at Giga Nevada. He's also obtained some exclusive drone shots below. So here is one image, pretty blurry, especially when zoomed in, but you can kind of tell what we're looking at here. And of course we have the pull through lanes right here. And the drone shots he mentioned are really just of Giga Nevada, but as you can see, these solar panels are still being built out. And here we have an image of what these mega chargers might look like. I'm sure they might be bigger with more internals, but this is kind of what that picture that we just saw looked like. So what do you guys think? Are we going to see a few Tesla semis delivered to Pepsi this quarter 4, even if it's just on a trial basis, or was that a mistake? All I'll say about the matter is I do think it's at least possible that Tesla could make between 10 and 20 of these semis in quarter 4, especially if they have the megacharger technology ready, even if it's just for the Pepsi site. Of course, they're not ready to produce semis at scale. The 4680 ramp isn't ready for that yet, but 10 to 20 of them might be a different story. And then we have this image shared by Dashing to Mars. This is the Giga Shanghai parking lot, but take a look. We have these Teslas wrapped in different colors. We have a pink, a teal, a different color blue. Some people are starting to say that Tesla has new paint colors at Giga Shanghai. I personally wouldn't think that's the case. I think if anything, I think it's this. We got this news earlier that Tesla is encouraging customization in China with a wrapping service launch. Tesla has launched an in-house car wrap service at some of the company's delivery centers in at least 5 Chinese cities. The service will be available for all cars across the company's fleet in China. And I was actually just talking to some of my patrons about this. So in the future, 10 years from now, Teslas are going to be all over the place. You're no longer going to be the cool kid with a Tesla. It's going to become a normal thing, just like Hondas or Toyotas are today. But if Tesla can counteract this and keep some level of customization to make it a unique experience, whether it's an in-house wrap or an in-house custom paint job like some of those things we saw at Giga Berlin, that would be a huge deal. And my guess here would be that it might actually be cheaper and faster to wrap a car piece by piece rather than having to do it after the fact, after the final assembly. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, what do you think? Next up, Greeny only shared this video. Emergency light display keeps getting evolved, probably soon to appear on a car display near you. And motorcycles have their own asset, so pretty cool, stay on the lookout for that. Back to Sawyer, he's been told via a European source, all Model 3 rear-wheel drive produced after the 1st of November 2021 will have heated steering wheel and rear heated seats as standard direct from the factory. No free upgrade available for previous Model 3 customers. And we also had 10.4 rollout, which, as you can see, now visualizes speed bumps. So that's pretty cool. Not in the release notes. There will be a lot of minor changes like this that don't make it to the notes. And speaking of those release notes, if you're curious, Dr. Know-It-All did a great video on explaining some of those new fixes and improvements, so if you're interested, I've linked it below. A quick note here, Florida's Brightline adds 15 Tesla Model Ys to its fleet of ride-share shuttles. Brightline offers a privately run intercity rail route between Miami and West Palm Beach. Through Brightline Plus, we are solving the long-standing gaps of the first and last mile, and in the process, proudly supporting Miami's growing tech sector. On December 1st, customers will be able to book rides to and from the station. Private rides will cost $10, while shared rides will be free of charge. And last up for today, in case you missed it over the weekend, we got some very powerful, impactful comments from Ford's CEO about Tesla. I'm going to read those to you now as you watch some Tesla footage. That is all for today. Please like the video if you did. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Here are the words of Jim Farley. If Ford was a $1 trillion company, our stock would be worth about $250 a share. Think about the value creation of Tesla right now. They have resources, smart people. The Model 3 is the best-selling vehicle in Europe. Not electric, flat out. It was the best-selling vehicle in the UK. Most months, it's the best-selling vehicle in California. Not just electric, but overall. If we're going to succeed, we cannot ignore this competition anymore. Look at Tesla, why they're doing what they're doing and what we can learn from them. First, they have a direct model. There's no one in between. They make it so easy. 3 or 4 clicks, configuring the vehicle with not a lot of complexity to delivering it to the customer. Simple, non-negotiated pricing, a large reservation system as well as remote service. Second, Tesla maximizes use of electrons in the vehicle. No one does it better than they do. Their customers pay less for a better battery. Their focus after they launch the vehicle, their obsession after the launch of the vehicle to make the customer experience better, to re-engineer the electronic components, to simplify, to address quality based on data coming off the vehicles, to reduce the bill of material based on how people actually use the vehicle, to drive vertical integration, and they do more. They solve the hardest problems at Tesla. And they manage every electron so they can be as efficient as possible with the expense of the battery. Third, the product itself is highly differentiated from the rest of the ICE field, and complexity is tiny compared to OEMs. That allows them to have enormous reuse that we've never seen in our ICE business. Tesla can scale quickly because of that complexity reduction. They can drive the cost down, which they have. They can keep the process simple. While we are making progress, and we have a lot of work to do. But our competitors are unbelievable in this space, something we have never seen.